How's everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. How's everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. To get started, why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. Yo, what's up, chat? Oh, give me a second. I gotta get rid of this box over here real quick. Let me just get rid of that box for you guys. Give me a second. How are you guys doing? My OBS crashed. So if you are watching me on Twitch or on x.com, you won't see any of the previous lag or anything that I was having. But if you were watching me on YouTube, you would have noticed a little bit of a delay, a little bit of lag, and a restart of stream almost. But hey, we're back, we're locked and loaded. Let's see how you guys are doing. Looks like all the streams are back up. My voice is being picked up also. We're good to go. How's everyone doing, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy TraderPrad. We are back with another stream, back with another week. It's gonna be what seems to be a very, very interesting, very, very hot week on the market. We got NVIDIA reporting earnings this week, the largest company in the market at the moment. So NVIDIA reporting earnings this week. We also have big news moving stocks all the way around from the from the biotech sector to the energy sector because of Trump, electing people, putting people in power for certain departments that are already in certain companies. So those people, causing those stocks, and the overall reaction in certain stocks in the market has been glorious to play off of. So many names, so many opportunities to keep an eye on. Palantir looking like it's possibly topped out and getting ready to push back down. Cryptocurrency going back above 90K in terms of Bitcoin. That's taking MSTR, Coinbase, and all of them higher. So lots of names over here. Oh, I can't forget the thumbnail, super micro computer or super macro scamputer, right? What is it? Is it a scam? Is it not a scam? We had a news today after hours that popped the stock up really far to the north side where I don't think it's sustainable. So it's lots to talk about on that side. And we also have earnings names that reported today and tomorrow after hours, like Walmart, Lowe's, and a bunch of other retail names. XPev, Futu, the Chinese names also on the watch list. So let's head over to the big screen, have some fun with tomorrow's watch list that I prepared for us. I see a bunch of you in the chat already. TH expressing his hatred for Nike, saying die Nike die. All right, dude, all right, take it easy, TH, take it easy. John Vaughn bought DKNG and Google on Free Fall Friday for a sweet and set sell limits, and I sold for a profit this morning before I got set up. Short day. Let's go, my friend. I love it. You know, when people are in fear, when people are fear mongering, this is when you buy, right? When I think, what's the saying? When there's blood in the water. I don't know what the saying is, so I won't even try remembering it. But when there's fear, that's when you want to be actually greedy. And when there's greed, you want to be more fearful. Be always opposite of what the general consensus of the market is thinking about. And in that term, I actually have a good article that I was reading today I want to talk about. We'll talk about that much later. But shout out to you, DKNG up 6% from Friday. Google coming up almost about 1.63% up to the upside from last Friday. So shout out to you, getting profitable on both of those positions. John Wahan on fire. CD, how you doing, CD? Question, do you take maximum number of trades per day as part of your trading rule? I don't really have anything as a maximum amount of trades per day or minimum amount of trades per day, really. It just comes down to, how many opportunities are there? Are there good amount of opportunities in the day? Are there A+ setups? Usually, there's probably 1 or 2 real A+ setups across the board if you really go out there and look for them. That you can possibly take right off the open, maybe 1 or 2 right in the middle of the day. I'm talking about stocks that are in play. Obviously, you can find other setups, other names out there that you can potentially call A+ according to your own grading methodology. But realistically, there's possibly like 2 to like 6 possible trades throughout the day that you can call A+ that's set up. So besides that, it's not really worth it if you think about it, right? Would you really take a C trade? I know I take a lot of C trades and a lot of D trades, right? Horrible setups, and those are like leaks in my bucket. I just have a lot of horrible trades that I take throughout the day that if I just didn't take, I would just be way more profitable, easily way more profitable. But that's a demon that I gotta fight within myself, and hopefully I get over that demon. If not, that's going to be the curse that every trader will fall into and end their career on. That's just how it goes. In terms of maximum and minimum trades per day, I don't really have anything like that. If I see an opportunity, if I think it's worth it, if I think that the risk to reward is worth on that, then I will obviously go for that. We got Bobby Helms 1985 who just subscribed, and I think you are coming in from the X.com. Shout out for Bobby on X.com saying scam for sure in terms of I'm guessing when we were talking about the SMCI, super micro computer or super macro scamputer. Shout out to Bobby for hitting the subscribe button. He's calling it a scam. He's calling it a scam for sure. Starting at the top of the watch list for tomorrow, I actually have names from the watch list over here, from the earnings board, sorry, I should say. So tonight after pre-market, not any that I really care about. Tonight after hours, we do have a couple names that I do want to keep an eye out for: SYM and Trip.com, TCOM. I have traded these names before. Tomorrow pre-market, Walmart, Lowe's, Xpeng. You can even put Medtronic in there, MDT. I do have Vikings and Futu in the watch list because obviously Futu has been popped up crazily high to the north side recently due to the Chinese stimulus catalyst and so on. Now with their earnings report, do they have some sort of a second leg to the upside, or do they just give you a big breakdown to the downside on a bad report? So Futu, worth watching tomorrow for pre-market opportunities. Just quickly, as we are here already, show you guys what all names are reporting tomorrow, and for the rest of the week. We got Lazy Boy tomorrow after hours, Dolby Studios. I'm guessing that's the same Dolby Audio, Dolby Studio over here, DLB. Star Bulk, not sure what that is. Thought that was Starbucks for a second, but nope, Star Bulk apparently. NIO, so here's another Chinese EV name reporting. That's Wednesday pre-market, NIO, along with Target's competitor, Walmart's competitor, that's reporting tomorrow. We got Target reporting Wednesday, TJ Maxx, Zim, VIX, that's the website designing company if I remember correctly, Williams Sonoma, Nvidia, Snowflake, Palo Alto. That's three big names right there on Wednesday. Obviously Nvidia is kind of holding up the market at the moment. If Nvidia reports well, we'll see what kinds of insane moves Nvidia comes out with. And then Snowflake, obviously, Palo Alto, the two. One of them is, I think, just cloud. I'm not sure if Snowflake actually deals with cybersecurity also, but we know Palo Alto deals with cybersecurity, so that one's gonna keep an eye out for all with in the CrowdStrike type of realms of world. SQM, previously have traded that one also. We got Baidu pre-market, John Deere, JD, Pinduoduo, PDD. Can't ignore that one. That's always a fun one to keep an eye out for. BJ's reporting Thursday pre-market. Usually BJ's and Dick's Sporting Goods report on the same day, but it hasn't been like that for a couple earnings season, so I guess they kind of changed that. So now BJ's probably reporting the next week after, while Dick's probably reporting next week, and BJ's reporting Thursday pre-market. We got Warner Music Group, not really one that I would be trading. Anything else? Gap, possibly. Gap actually did the right thing of changing their ticker from GPS to GAP. Shout out to Gap. I love seeing Gap as a ticker for Gap. I always hated anytime people said, oh, pull up Gap, and I would instead pull up GPS. I would instead type in GAP instead of GPS, because I'd be thinking that they're telling me to pull up the GAP ticker. Such confusion back in the day. I'm so glad that they changed it. So GAP reporting earnings Thursday after hours. Make sure you tune into that stream to take a look at how that report sets up. Right now we're going to read Symbiotic and Trip.com's report using our good friend Benzinga. If you're interested in Benzinga, head over to my Linktree page. I'm just going to copy paste the Linktree page in all of my streams real quick, just so you guys have it. Over here you can see the affiliate sponsors. Go check out Benzinga. We're gonna use Benzinga to read the earnings reports for these stocks. Ooh, go, there's Benzinga. SYM reported 5 cents per share, beating analyst estimates by 3 cents. Okay, revenue 576 million, beating estimates of 470 million, is an increase over sales from 391.88 million from same period last year. I'm pleased with our performance this year. I don't want to really read that. I want to go for the outlook. What's the first quarter for the fiscal? For the first quarter of the fiscal 2025, Symbiotic expects revenue of 495 million to 515 million, a little bit lower than what they just reported. So quarter to quarter looks a little bit lower versus 495 million estimates. However, if you compare it to the estimates, their low end is basically the estimate and the high end is much higher than the estimate. So I guess that's still a beat overall because they did beat the estimate and adjusted of 27 to 31 million EBITDA. SYM price action at the time of the report went up 23.21%. However, quarter over quarter, you're decreasing, but I guess because they are beating the revenue quite drastically, their low end is, like I said, the estimate itself. So that's a pretty bullish indication, I guess, on that name over here. So let's go take a look to see if the stock actually held those gains or did it sell those gains afterwards. Right now, this is the daily chart. I think I can maybe delete these two lines. I possibly won't need them anymore. If I do, I'll put them back. But let's go to the 5-minute chart. Looks like the stock is actually going to keep the gains after popping up. We got above last week's high around 36.45. That's this orange dotted line that you're seeing. We got above last week's high, and that's where the earnings anchored VWAP is coming into play also. This is what I love seeing sometimes on a longer time frame, on a higher time frame, and also off of most recent catalyst anchored VWAP. If both of these set up in the same price area, it's always a zone, it's a level. If both of them set up in the same price zone and area, I always like to see how a stock reacts once we dip down into that area. So for right now, that price is around 36.76 to 36.45. I'm just gonna say anywhere from 37 to 36.50 would be nice to see if we get a dip buy opportunity to see if last week's high gets respected on SYM for a possible long. But there is a chance that, you know, we don't even see the stock dipping to the downside over here to 36.45, 36.50. It might just take out the after hour high and just keep rallying higher, keep charging much higher from the after hour high, and potentially we might have to short the pop because the report was good. You know, what was the growth year over year? Okay, that was actually pretty drastic amount of growth from same period last year. Same period last year was 391.8 million, and they reported 576 million, and they were expected 470 million. So that's pretty drastic overall. So they came in with the big beat. Is this company expensive? Let's go check out what the PE is for SYM. PE at the moment non-existent. So I guess they're just about to start making some money because, you know, 5 cents per share. They were estimated to make 3 cents per share. So just about to start making money. Forward PE of 39. But whew, right now, as I like to call it, the Donald Trump market, we're seeing stocks go absolutely bonkers, absolutely crazy. Right now, ooh, what is that marker? Yeah, potentially, maybe put in this double bottom here. I'm calling this area as a double bottom 1 and 2. That whole double bottom as one whole zone. And I'm expecting, even if we, okay, that's still 37.22. That's above the anchored VWAP slash last week's price. So even if the stock goes, like I said, anywhere from 37 to 36.50, finds buying above 37 to 36.50, I think there's a long to keep an eye out for. Here's a possible barrier to the upside, and here's another possible barrier to the upside. I don't think we get all the way up to 50 bucks tomorrow, but crazier things have happened. Crazier things have happened for sure. Looking to see if the stock goes into $41, $42 tomorrow and possibly opens around this area and then sells off back into, you know, the anchored VWAP possibly catches up somewhere here. We start flattening out into $39, $40 for anchored VWAP, at which point the stock probably trades here for a little bit and then pulls back down. That's the kind of the pattern I'm expecting really from the stock. So potentially a short opportunity into some sort of a double top into 42, some sort of a fail break of 42 first for a quick scalp to the downside. That could potentially be turned into a bigger trade. So would be interesting to see how the stock trades into these price levels. I'm gonna put down that 42 area for an eye, and then above 42, obviously that $50 area stands out to me on the daily chart. So it's also worth to keep an eye out on how the stock looks on the hourly chart. Always go top down approach. Start from the sometimes I do start looking at the stocks on the weekly and the monthly. So you could start up there too, weekly, monthly, daily. That's the higher time frame. Then you start going to a little bit, you can even put hourly into the higher time frame depending on what type of a trader you are. But higher time frame, and then start going into the lower time frame, the hourly, 30 minutes, 5 minutes. And here's actually a pretty good diagram. I love Twitter for this reason. People on Twitter are absolute beauties. Sweeterman, if you guys don't follow him, go check him out. He actually runs an awesome Discord channel. You have to go check him out, check his Discord out through his Twitter and so on. Amazing dude, runs an amazing Discord channel. People are just giving out free education over there on how to trade. I found this about him talking about the Venn diagram of his best setups, basically the higher time frame, the lower time frame, and then when his best setups come into play is when something at the higher time frame matches the lower time frame also, and you find a price level that kind of gets right into that confluence zone where now you have double the reason to take the trade. Not just one reason, not just because it's a daily chart breakout, or not just because it's a 5-minute chart breakout. Now you got a hourly chart breakout, a daily chart breakout, a 5-minute chart breakout. All of that combined, that just makes that trade so much better. The EV higher for that trade. And if you start looking at your trades in EV and betting in possible expected value also, that can help you now classify your setup as A plus, B minus, C minus, and then when to really start taking higher trades. So for example, you see this telecom right here, why did I say telecom? T-com, right? You see T-com has that top as I guess the previous all-time high. Not really, but we have this previous high on T-com, which is turning into a triple bottom. So now we got a higher time frame setup off of this earnings report. Let's say it's negative. I see it's green right off the bat, thanks to TradingView. But let's say it was red and it pushes down into this level. Tomorrow, trading off of this level as a hold or a failure to hold this area would be an awesome short to the downside, and that gives you a multiple level confluence. So that's what you're kind of watching for always. Look for multiple reasons to take the trade. Let's come back to the earnings topic over here. T-com reporting earnings today after hours, heading back to Benzinga to see how they report. TripAdvisor, how did you do, buddy? TripAdvisor reported quarterly earnings of $1.25 per share, beating analyst estimates of 91 cents. Awesome. 25% increase of earnings of $1 per share from same period last year. Company reported quarterly sales of 2.27. Who the fuck uses Trip.com? 2.27 billion, which beat analyst consensus estimates of 2.2 billion. This is a 20% increase over sales of 1.89 billion in the same period last year. Overall, 20% increase. That's not bad at all. And they're making $1.25 per share. Let's go. Trip.com is monstrous apparently. I guess I'm the only one who's not using Trip.com. They're not even that expensive, right? They're not that expensive either. And I guess with that banger of a report, possibly a move to the upside. Very, very light volume over here in the after hours on T-com, but looks like it actually did go slightly higher at the time of the report. On this volume, I can't really make too much of an estimate as to what the stock might do. If we do get a dip into these areas, 3 million shares on a $63 stock is very, very little. 20% increase is good. We don't really see what the outlook is also either. So all things combined, I think we have to be ready for, maybe this is not the name to keep an eye on. But if I do get a dip into, let's say, $60, $57 tomorrow, I think there's a no-brainer long over here setting up on T-com. But only if it goes into 60 60/59 areas into this double top, triple top area. And sets up for some sort of an easy setup. Other than that, I think I need a lot more volume to increase the priority on the trade on this stock. That means pre-market volume, pre-market activity, or intraday activity. If your average 30-day volume is 4 million shares, I need to see 2 times that R-vol throughout the day coming in for me to be excited on TCOM. At that point, maybe we can, you know, keep a little bit closer eye on this name instead of some of the other names that are reporting tomorrow, such as Walmart. Walmart recently had a stock split. It's no longer a stupidly ridiculous price anymore, so now you can trade Walmart expecting some liquidity, some push back and forth off the report. Also, another one that's in the same realm but a little bit more expensive. I'm just gonna go ahead and delete all my drawings because I have to be ready for tomorrow. Lowe's reporting tomorrow. Keeping an eye on how this one reports. Nice. I think the ATR on Lowe's is $5.3. So if this one gets a little exciting, potentially could see a $7 to $10 ATR on Lowe's. So that will be fun to keep an eye out for. XPEV. Chinese EV names, obviously with the whole Chinese sector recently, this one is a must-watch name. See how this one reports. Along with the Chinese sector, you have Futu is reporting tomorrow pre-market. Gotta keep an eye on this one, potentially giving you some sort of a daily chart failure, fall through, breakout to the downside for an even big move on the swing term, or some sort of a big long action back into the euphoric prices that it was at recently. So very, very close eye on this one. Vips, was this a Chinese name? I can't remember if this was a Chinese name or not. But I know they report tomorrow. Viking Holdings. This one is your cruise liners resort most recent IPO. Also, I remember trading the IPO. Nice little daily chart pattern. Also, if you ask me, so either a breakout above that little daily chart pattern to the upside for more run up to the north, or a breakdown below that price point. So 44.80, you can say 45, I guess 44. I'll just say 45 to 44.80 to keep an eye out for to the downside. For the upside, we got 46.25. Depending on the earnings, obviously might have to readjust our levels based on pre-market. If the stock is higher than 46.25 and is holding 46.25 as support, then we might have to change 46.25 over to the support column. Let me show you the watch list. Change 46.25 over to the support column, and then see where the next levels are in the pre-market. So very important for me, at least, to keep an eye on this name. If there is some volume in the pre-market, I like the daily chart pattern. It kind of consolidated in this area above the previous all-time high, broke out, brought in some not real volume at all, didn't really bring in too much volume, but managed to hold its gains and continue holding off in this area right before its earnings report. I like that quite well. OKLO, this is the energy name that I was talking about. Trump Daddy, I told you guys, the best indicator that you can put on into play right now. Forget any software. You don't need any software for this indicator. You just need to have a x.com account. Go to x.com and find Trump Daddy's Twitter account. Donald Trump, right? And turn that bell on. Turn the bell on, and then all you have to do is listen to Trump Daddy news. As soon as he elects somebody, I think today the catalyst was, where is it? OKLO. After member Wright was chosen to lead the Department of Energy, the DOE, and he is a board member of OKLO, but he is also the CEO of LBRT, which went up about 5% today. So all these catalysts that are setting up. You're also having another catalyst set up for Tesla today in the pre-market, saying Trump is going to take it easier on the restrictions on self-driving, which just means that self-driving Tesla is just going to be able to push out more crazy software without really having to test it and so on. At least that's what the articles are saying. People are putting down poor Elon without any reason. He hasn't shown any reason to yet, but they're putting down Elon so hard. But Trump is causing some real good catalysts to play around the market. So LBRT, OKLO was also a recent name with the whole nuclear energy name that's been going to the upside. NNE, URA, which is uranium ETF, that one getting a pop up to the north side too. So keep an eye on for that catalyst. Roku getting a pop to the upside today. What was Roku's news? I forget what was new. I think it was just an upgrade. I got a 7% move to the upside, but I'm not really too interested unless it gets up to like what, $80-$81. So yeah, I'll have it on watch, but if it doesn't go up to 80-81, I might not really do anything with the Roku tomorrow. Robinhood breaking out again. I think, was that my alert? I don't think that's my alert. What was that? That's the pre-market. Oh, sorry, that's the IPO low. So Robinhood finally breaking out above the IPO low. A lot of people who've been underwater ever since the IPO low are getting, they're getting a little bit breather now. They're getting a little bit of relief. They're seeing their prices penetrating and coming back to life, that Palantir realization. So let's see how Robinhood sets up. This one obviously on watch. A little bit of volume increasing with the breakout coming behind it. Today's high was 35.62. Previous high of this marker, what was that marker coming into? 34.32. So let's just say $34. So any dip buy into 34 to 34.50 on Robinhood. If we can stay above it tomorrow, show some good clean 5-minute pattern to stay long above 34.50, I think there is another good long opportunity setting up. You can kind of look today as a day one again. It had consolidated for a little bit, it compressed for a little bit, and you can look at today as a day one. I think this was also no real catalyst other than just the upgrade, if I remember correctly. So just one of those other stocks. Let's see. Yeah, just another upgrade to $40 target, and you can say that we're pretty close to the target, and maybe there's a little bit of a correction coming in, so you could also look at it on that angle. For me, I'm mainly interested in the long because of this little holding pattern, this little consolidation. You can look at this as the sellers just lost. So until another seller comes in, you kind of look at this as the buyers are in control, the buyers are in power right now. So Robinhood potentially charging into 40 or even higher than 40. They're expected to launch a bunch of new things, access to a desktop platform. I think they're talking about access to futures and a bunch of other stuff too in the crypto world potentially. So Robinhood had a lot of good catalysts. However, their report wasn't that great. They did have a lot of good catalysts in general. mRNA went a little higher today. I forget why mRNA went up. I can go pull up I think it was also another upgrade, right? mRNA got crushed recently. Where did I find mRNA? Moderna right here on the CNBS watch list. Sadly, I do read the CNBS watch list, but let's go read over here the CNBS watch list. mRNA HSBC upgrade, saying they expect the pipeline, blah 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 blah, a bunch of good things, even though the COVID vaccine wasn't really that great of a good thing for them. Now that RFK is in the power, it's for sure not a good thing for them. So mRNA got clapped a little bit more ever since RFK Jr. got elected into I forget what the actual seat is called, but ever since he got put into Trump's regime, Moderna, Pfizer, Novavax, all those stocks took a beating, but now Moderna with a little bit of an upgrade. You can call this a relief rally maybe, but I would say, you know, most of the time these upgrades are absolute bullshit, absolute nonsense. They kind of use these upgrades to create liquidity and maybe even offload themselves. So I'd be careful. You know, I wouldn't use this to really start buying just yet until some sort of a multi-day holding or even a hold above previous supports, previous resistances comes into play. Then I would be interested. Actually, you know what? I'll say this. Let the stock start holding above the most recent earnings anchored VWAP. Then you could look for a long. Until then, there's just simply no long for me on Moderna in a long-term picture, because right now it's just with RFK in power, you're just taking too much of a gamble on this name. So as a day trade, I'll just be potentially looking to short any pops. Moderna does make products. They do make money. They're not going bankrupt, right? They're not going absolutely bankrupt, but their life is going to be, oh, they don't make money, yikes, but their life is going to be much harder than what they had previously and the different administration and so on. So watching Moderna for possible shorts. Excuse me, deport, not report. What does that even mean, bro? Are crypto platforms profitable? I mean, I don't really go out there reading reports for most crypto platforms because I don't really, you know, I don't want to say I don't care about crypto. I don't really, yeah, I'll say it. I don't really care about crypto, right? I care about the stock market. So I haven't really indulged in the crypto market much. I used to own crypto. I took profits on it. Sadly, I don't have any more crypto. Watching it go up to 90K makes it even more salty for me. So I honestly don't care about it anymore. So when it comes to reading, you know, seeing what crypto platform is profitable or not, I'm not really sure. But when it comes to Coinbase, you know, we do read their report. We read their most recent report and it was horrible. They're not getting as much volume, they're not getting as much money, they're not generating as much revenue. You know, all things just look bad on Coinbase on their earnings report. But now, thanks to Mr. Sailor trying to sail his ship to the north side by simply taking investors' money, diluting the company 100%, and then buying Bitcoin with that diluted money and just sailing the ship straight to the north side, kind of creating some sort of ultimate squeeze itself. And then apparently more Bitcoin is expected to be bought up by him. You can see how Bitcoin right now is just perfectly respecting the 9 SMA right now on the daily chart, just looking beautiful, looking like it wants to break out again and go to that beautiful 100K 200K price that everyone wants it to go to. So if Bitcoin does end up go to those prices, you know, it doesn't matter if Coinbase didn't make money or not. They will start making money again or eventually, because this activity is absolutely crazy. So I'm not really sure how to answer your question in regards to is anyone making money or not, but my answer to that is, does it even matter? Does it actually matter if they make money or not? You know, you got companies like MARA, MARA, I thought they were doing a lot better than this. MARA taking a 14% nosedive today. What a short on the pre-market pop potentially, huh? Yeah, a little bit of a pop in the pre-market, but what a short on that name. MARA getting smoked. Yikes. BTCT, how are you doing? BTCT pulling back quite a bit too. Ooh, so these Bitcoin stocks actually getting smoked, I guess. But I guess Coinbase and MSTR, you can take a look at how these two are doing. Just absolute ridiculous lists at the moment. MSTR makes sense a little bit more than Coinbase, if you ask me. Coinbase needs to get slammed back down based on their most recent earnings report. But you know, the market's all about the future, not about the past. And based on the future, right now the future looks really bright to the point where you might need your sunglasses on. At least for Bitcoin. If you're a crypto holder, your future looks really bright. You might need to put your hater blockers on, because we're potentially getting a breakout to the upside, or the haters are gonna get a reward as the, you know, we might get a big breakout to the downside on Bitcoin. So I think people are watching for either side. People are watching for either side. And you get a trade, you know, setting up on the stock market if you're interested on that too. You got a trade setting up on the stock market if you're interested on that. If Bitcoin starts breaking out below that trend line we just put in, potential move to the downside, or Bitcoin starts breaking out the highs, potential move to the high side above 53.26, which is the all-time high on IBIT. More fun for us to keep an eye out. Michael Noss saying BTC profit taking happening now and market in sector rotation. Michael Noss is a very smart man, and I would listen to what he says. He is a very, very smart man. And if he's saying that the market might be in a rotation, I would, you know, heed his word. I would heed his word. All right. I want to talk about SMCI. Let's talk about it. The culprit in the watch list today. Thanks to the most fun name tomorrow. Did you guys know that SMCI actually has a 3 times leverage ETF SMCX, or 2 times, sorry, 2 times. And this one brought in 3.7 million shares today. I'm guessing most of that came in after hours, intraday too, I guess. But this one went to $47, whereas SMCI only went to $30. I guess 2 times, right? It makes a little bit of sense at 2 times. So potentially some opportunities on SMCX, on SMCI. Both of these names will be on watch tomorrow. I think this name pop that we're watching in the after hours, in my opinion, is Fugazi. And Fugazi because they didn't actually drop their 10K filing. They didn't report their 10K filing. All they did was report a plan. They reported a plan on how they want to meet regulation so they don't get delisted. They believe that they can successfully report 10K filing, blah, 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 blah. They hired a brand new auditor, but what if that auditor comes out and says, yo, this is some scary shit. We don't want to touch this company either. You know, Ernst & Young backed out. We're going to back out too. We don't want to touch this company with a 10 feet pole either. And if they back out, you know, more delisting potentially coming in my opinion, people will not be looking to buy SMCI just yet, unless they're just looking to scalp the intraday back and forth. So some people are taking profits up here on this after hour. What do we get? Like a 30% pop after hour, insane pop after hour, 40% pop, 50% pop after hours. I'm expecting people to take profits on these moves tomorrow, and then some sort of a shorts opportunity setting up on SMCI, because this is not a 10K filing. But I also want to talk about the potential legitimacy of SMCI. I saved the picture. Did I not? No. No. Oh, I lost it. What did I type for it? There you go. I think that's the one. So I found this image, 2024, where Elon's talking to the Supermicro CEO, Elon Musk's liquid cooled gigafactory AI data centers get a plug from Supermicro CEO. Tesla and xAI's new supermicro computers will have 350,000 NVIDIA GPUs. Both will be online within months. So all of that is SMCI stuff. So you know, these numbers are not bullshit. We know some of them are legitimate, but how much is it legitimate? Right? We know companies like Elon and Mark Zuckerberg and all the other big names who can actually afford to dish out the money, they can afford it, but are the numbers that they're reporting actually adding up to what the numbers we're seeing? Or are they actually selling to themselves? You know, people are actually they're doubting Nvidia and they're doubting SMCI. They're saying that SMCI is selling their products to themselves on shelf companies. That's what Nvidia is doing too, inflating their sales by doing this, and that way running up the prices of their products so they can sell their products to Tesla, to Mark Zuckerberg at higher and higher prices, and kind of create this fake demand and short supply false idea, and then resell their own products again to the open market for higher prices. So kind of just playing this whole scammy market business. I mean, if that's real, that's gonna really make the cards fall down on the market so hard. A bigger tumble on the market than Enron ever was if Nvidia's involved with it too. So, you know, I don't want to start wearing a tin hat for all of that just yet. Just looking at this one picture, you know, I'm looking at Supermicro Computer as somewhat of a legitimate company, but then we also have them doing the shady business back in the day. All you have to do is look up SMCI, the company, on Wikipedia, and it doesn't, you know, take too long to start reading about their accounting practices and you know, how previously they were delisted on the stock market already, and then now they're relisted. So this is not their first time. They've been doing this before or in the past. So all things combined, there's more shady stuff also than real stuff at the same time. So kind of best of both worlds, I guess, right? You have the shady stuff, you have the good stuff. You don't know what to believe at that point. So still waiting for the 10K filing. I think based on this overall reaction in the after hours, we're going to potentially get some sort of a good short opportunity tomorrow. Looking to see if I can have some, I'll put SMCI obviously on watch, high priority tomorrow. Looking for a short opportunity, maybe on a pop into the higher end of the moving averages. I have some moving averages, anchored VWAPs laid out already. So looking to see how the stock plays out. This is a pretty solid resistance. I'm not expecting that to come into play. 37, 28. I think we're already above 28 in the after hours. So we got some levels over here to keep an eye out for. I think that is actually the split day low. No, that's the day before the split day's low. A couple days before the split day low. Not sure why I put that down there, but it's there. It's there. So yeah, looking to see how SMCI sets up for short opportunities. Palantir, if Palantir gets below 58.50, that's gonna open up more downside room. Palantir potentially topping out over here, but if Palantir starts, or should I say keeps bouncing off of 58.50, off of 59, then you know, the buying over here is still strong, and you can see how the earnings anchored VWAP is still on a straight slope to the upside. There's still a slope to the upside, meaning that buying momentum is still there. It hasn't started flattening out yet. Usually when the earnings anchored VWAP or any VWAP starts to flatten out, it kind of indicates a little bit of potential shift in momentum or a retest of some sort of a level before we start rallying back into the high side, or then go correct mode back to the downside. So right now, with the way anchored VWAP is setting up, my expectation is we don't even see 58.50 tomorrow. The stock is, you know, just going back and forth between today's candle, possibly what it did yesterday. It tried to stay in yesterday's candle today. It failed to, but I'm expecting it to kind of just stay into the yesterday's candle tomorrow on Palantir. In that sense, 58.50 will potentially give you some sort of a good long opportunity, but if it actually starts to get below 58.50, then that is start playing time. It starts getting ready to push some real buttons, because Palantir has had some negative sentiment to it recently. It is time to look for that failure to follow through to the upside, as some of the bulls might be trapped, and as their stops get triggered, some real downside opening up on Palantir. Nvidia taking a possible breather going into its earnings report. I would say, keep an eye on it. Doesn't hurt to keep an eye on Nvidia, obviously, but going into its earnings report, I usually try not to trade these large cap names going into their earnings report. They don't really have the cleanest moves. They will just kind of do what the market does, go back and forth overall. So it's something I'll watch. I just won't trade it. Tesla, obviously keeping this one on watch every day. It's kind of having a good news with the whole Trump news and so on. So Tesla, for sure watching this one. Nice pop to the upside today. That pop gave you a little bit of a fade, but not too much. So maybe more running opportunities to the north side on Tesla. 400 coming into play. 420 funding secured. If you guys remember that joke from back in the day, that was a fun time to trade Tesla. But yeah, Tesla for sure. You can't ignore this bad boy. In terms of levels, I mean, look, this is very choppy. You don't really have any clean level to trade off of. I'd say go on the 60-hour time frame and look for the pops and the lows and the highs on the 60-hour time frame, and that will give you some sort of a read around those levels. I want to say, be patient to see what you get around these levels, around the pops and so on. But for the most part, it's just going to be the patterns, right? How does the 5-minute pattern? I have one of these indicators that actually chart the patterns out for me. So waiting for some sort of a 5-minute pattern to play out, maybe a low a day breakout, and see how it broke the low a day right here, and then it started holding just below the low a day, and not really having any buying move to the back upside, and then got sold off even more. So you got a little bit of a short opportunity here and here on Tesla if you were looking for, if you just ignored the morning back and forth and so on, right? So just opportunities like that throughout the day. I'll be watching to see how they set up on Tesla. Today's news catalyst was, I'd say, very bullish. If they're gonna have less regulations on how they operate, I'd say that's a pretty bullish of a news for that one. Where is MSTR on the watch list? God damn, this guy's such an MSTR monkey. Just for that, we're not even gonna talk about MSTR right now, which was actually the next name on the watch list. I'm joking. We're gonna talk about MSTR for sure. I see some of you in the chat talking. Let's see what's going on over here. Michael Anthony, good to see you in the chat. New profile picture. Okay. More news after the close with shares at $30. That's for SMCI, I'm expecting. Pretty sure SMCI is getting Nvidia Blackwell chips on loans, but Nvidia gets to report the loans as income. So seems shady, but I don't know. Yeah, like I said, there are some theories on the internet that people are thinking that they are just stuffing the books at the end of the day, Nvidia and SMCI, and if that's what they're doing, it'll be pretty shady. I think the CFO of AMD just resigned. AMD. Are they struggling a little bit? AMD today actually up 3%. Not bad. Actually up a little bit, up 3% AMD today. Shout out to AMD. Nvidia chips are overheating and the new shares are no good. I would say I agree with that statement. I don't know about the chips overheating. My Nvidia chip, I'm running a 1080. It's a really old, not even a 1080 Ti, and I can still play most games that I want to play. Granted, I don't really play as many games anymore, and even if I do play games, I play like shooter games like Counter-Strike, Valorant. They don't really need that big of a graphics power strain on your computer. So 1080 runs awesome, but yeah, I don't know, the chips are overheating. Maybe you're saying the chips like the stocks are overheating. The chips are overheating because the server racks are not designed correctly. Okay, so yeah, you guys are talking about the NVIDIA chips. Palantir could fall back to 34, says Michael Anthony. I think 34 is a little bit of an overextent to it. Potentially could go back into at least the previous all-time high of 45. We do have the 200-day moving average, which is all the way at $30. So if there is some sort of a real correction coming into play on this name, then yeah, $34, $33, $30 is not as far out from the picture over the long term. This is a little bit of craziness, you know, getting added to the S&P 500. Now they're getting transferred over to the NASDAQ. Then they're gonna get added into the NASDAQ 100, and their plan is to squeeze the stock to pay out the long-term investors and screw the short sellers over. That was actually said by the stockholders themselves and the board members themselves, and then they deleted the tweets. It was hilarious. That was a whole hilarious event of sequence of events that took place over the weekend, over Friday, over the weekend. So you know, I'm expecting Palantir to catch some heat, and it'll be interesting to see how low they pull back. Where's MSTR on the watch list? So yes, let's head over to the MSTR watch list right now. MSTR, obviously big move today, actually pushing into the all-time high, a little bit of a peekaboo above the all-time high and closing above the all-time high. So, you know, doing a pretty good job with the peekaboo above the all-time high, and actually it did so at the end of the day, exactly what you want to see it do. Bitcoin's still above 90,000, so that's still a bullish catalyst if you ask me. If I remember correctly, our boy Angry Buddha was sitting in a Discord call, sorry, not Discord call, in an X Twitter space call that said that MSTR is looking to buy about 1.75 billion more Bitcoin, and if that's the case, you know, more juice to the upside on MSTR over here. So at the moment, if you look at MSTR, actually on the 5-day moving average, we got a beautiful retest of the 5-day moving average after the pre-market pop, a hold of the 5-day moving average, and then just a straight shot to the upside ever since the open. A little bit of a pullback and then a bounce again off the VWAP area. This blue line is VWAP. It kind of got below VWAP, yes, but I'd say it managed to bounce VWAP pretty well. Just a little bit lower than VWAP, but managed to bounce VWAP pretty well. Let's actually throw anchored VWAP off of that right there. I guess that would be the exact same. Deutsch. I'm stupid. No, that wouldn't make sense either. I want to see. Let's go back here real quick. Okay. That's not what I wanted to see either. Alright, whatever. So, overall, pretty bullish move if you ask me. You can see how these auto chart patterns also kind of pattern it out for you. Right now you got a little bit of a pizza slice breakout pattern in the after hours, and the fact that BTC is still above 90k, potentially we see a little bit of a higher move above 90k on BTC tomorrow, and that could take it you know, MSTR above. I'm guessing what everyone wants to see, the magical number for MSTR, which is 420, baby, the magical number 420. So we'll see if that number actually comes into play anytime before the end of the year. As I was talking about the previous all-time high, we have pretty clear levels to keep an eye out for. You can look at today as almost day one again. So today's VWAP, today's high, those are the level of interest for me on the stock. So I'm gonna put today's VWAP as support, today's high as resistance, and then we'll see how pre-market, or I should probably say yesterday's high as resistance, and yesterday's VWAP as support, and then I'll wait and see how the stock reacts to these levels for a trade opportunity. Kind of the same idea for Coinbase. Coinbase also moving higher, but as I keep saying, if there's ever a good short on the cryptocurrency names, maybe I should take that back. Because if there is ever a good short on the cryptocurrency names, it is apparently on the crypto miners. MARA getting absolutely shit-faced, absolutely smoked. Riot down 1%, HUD probably down a little bit also. So if there is ever a good short on the cryptocurrency names, I'm guessing it's RIOT, it's MARA, but I will still stick with my gut over here until they show me a little bit of a change in what that report was. That report was atrocious. I expected them to do so much better, but they reported so bad off that report, and thanks to cryptocurrency move, they're just getting an insane juice to the upside. You got a pretty clean double top, potential triple top coming into play on Coinbase. I'm going to keep an eye out for that 335 area. Either you reject 335 for some sort of a short, either you fail break 335 for some sort of a short, or you start holding above 335 for some sort of a long. So those are the three setups right there. You fail to get above 335 and then you set up for a short. You fail to get above 335 and get below by fail breaking 335, and then you've set up for a short, or you actually manage to get above 335 and hold above 335 cleanly for a move long. So those are the only setups I care about. We'll be interested to see how the stock sets up tomorrow. It might even break 335 in pre-market if cryptocurrency starts going a little bit active overnight. If the Winklevi brothers start doing something crazy. Here's the stock that's also in the cryptocurrency basket that went absolutely bonkers. Talk about BKKT, a cryptocurrency exchange. DJT, Donald Trump media, the Truth Social media looking to buy BKKT, and my expectation is if BKKT gets bought out by Truth Social Media, there's a high chance that BKKT will be potentially the go-to exchange for the country, for you know, for the world almost at this point. Like, this might start being the most insane company that we have not been keeping an eye out at all. You know, average 30-day volume is 470k now, 10 million shares coming into the last 10 minutes of close, going into the after hours, going from $10 into $40. So here's the name that you really want to keep an eye out for tomorrow. Let's go see what the valuation for this company even is. BKKT, oopsies. So no PE, they don't make money. Market cap 379 million, short float 13%, overall float 6 million. So I mean, ridiculous if you ask me, to think that this company could even get to that level where it's going to replace Coinbase as the go-to exchange for cryptocurrency just because True Social Media is buying it. But if that's the case, ladies and gentlemen, who am I to deny it, right? So put in those anchored VWAPs from that move where it started and get ready to analyze how the stock is reacting. Today's high ended up being the after hour high, a low basically on the consolidation. That's where the anchored VWAP is coming into play also. So ideally on any dips on BKKT, you want to see them getting respected. But if the stock is now holding under $30, there might be some good downside short opportunities opening up on BKKT. Obviously DJT making that pretty same run up to the north side, but usually when a stock is acquiring a company, they sell off instead of also going higher. So a little bit confused as to why DJT ran up the way it did. But hey, like I said, I'm not here to battle the move. I'm here to have fun with it. So if DJT continues to hold this move VWAP, it'll be interesting to see how that sets up for us. BE made a pop Friday after hours. It halted for quite a bit and then made an insane pop from 13 to 22, and then basically kept going higher and higher all day since, and then today continued to have some gain in it. So this one, gotta keep an eye out for it. Bloom Energy, looks like some energy names at least getting respected, you know, FSLR, Bloom Energy. BE, moving to the north side, 20% short flow, 193 million flow overall, 8.3 billion market cap. So not a small market cap. 8.3 is not in the small market cap anymore, but the flow is only 200 million flow. I guess I shouldn't say 200 million. It's an okay flow. We'll be interested to see what opportunities set up on this name. Obviously, BE, the fact that the way it gapped up and then it continued to hold its gain and keep going higher, there could be more moves over here. So watching this one without a doubt. Grab, GRAB, Grab Holdings breaking out to the north side. It reported earnings not too long ago, if I remember. I think it reported more recently than that, did it not? I'm forgetting, I guess. But, you know, made a little bit of a pop recently. I remember reporting earnings more recent than that. I guess not. Whatever. It's breaking out a little bit. You know, our vol coming in, more volume than usual on the 30-day scale. Breaking out to the 5% to the north side. Even dollar level coming into play. So ideally, the stock needs to start hold above 5 or even 490 for an even bigger move. If it doesn't hold above 490 at the very least, then there just simply is no bigger move slash squeeze move that people might be expecting on this name. If I remember correctly, a decent short flow. No, not a short flow at all. High forward PE for a $5 stock. 19 billion market cap, let's just say 20 billion market cap, and a 2 billion short float. So it's going to be pretty hard to move the stock, I guess. But if it does start moving higher, and if it does start hold above $4.90 slash $5, there could be a long over here for you to play with. Keep in mind the ATR doesn't look too appealing. It's an 18-cent ATR. So isn't that exciting? I would say not. IonQ, downside finally looking to be opening up on IonQ here. However, we did bounce off the earnings anchored VWAP pretty sharply. Sharp bounce off the earnings anchored VWAP, so potentially not looking for a short as heavily on IonQ. Might even just have the stock on the side and not really be too interested on it. Uber looks to have broken down a little bit, but now I'm not really too interested on this one. Affirm breaking out to the north side. This one for sure we care about because that's a nice little breakout after a more recent breakout. So breakout, pullback, hold, and another breakout holding above earnings anchored VWAP, above the previous level. So this is again the same idea, higher time frame. You got the previous 52-week high, and then you got the earnings anchored VWAP, a lower time frame coming into play, giving you a confluence, and then setting up for a beautiful long play, exactly what that Twitter post earlier that we were talking about. So this is the kind of play that you want to look for, because now you can kind of swing this trade, right? You get long in this area, your stop is the low of that day right there, you're long around $52, $53, the stop is $51, $50, you're risking maybe, let's say you enter 53, your stop is 50, your stop is about $3, you got more than $3 per share reward. Right now you're sitting pretty at a $9, $10 reward per almost coming into play, and depending on how much higher the stock keeps on going for the next few days, next few weeks, next few months, next few years, I mean, you'll be laughing to picking up shares in that beautiful level right there. Episodic pivot. Maybe I shouldn't keep throwing out those terminologies that I don't really know too much about. I'm trying to act like I know Kulamagi setup, but I don't really know that setup at all. But you know, just based off of a technical chart breakout pattern, this is a beautiful breakout. You got a daily chart breakout pattern, a consolidation, earnings pullback, VWAP hold, and another breakout along with it. So more upside expected on Affirm. I'm looking to see how pullbacks get respected on this name. Amazon pushing into 200, looking to see if Amazon gets below 200. I hear that the Bezos' old wife is selling the name pretty hard, or at least has sold some of her shares. So if this stock can get back below 200 the way it did on Friday, potentially some sort of a trade opportunity over there on AMZN Amazon. And that right there is basically the name of all the names that I'm going to keep an eye on for tomorrow's watch list. But some of the most important names are obviously the ones that reported today after hours / might report tomorrow pre-market. I'm going to just quickly rearrange the most important names for me at the top of the board. That way I don't get too distracted by these other names. So these are the names at the top of the list for me that I want to keep an eye out for. Pre-market names usually come into play and then they distract me again. You know, can I say Walmart, Lowe's, XPEV, Futu, OKLO, Ecom, SMCI and SMCX are orange. And Tesla goes right here. Alright, hopefully some of these names. Where's MSTR? Oh, it's already up there. Awesome. So that right there is basically my most important names on the day tomorrow that I want to keep an eye out for. Can you quickly go over Futu and why it's on the watch list, please? So I kind of went over it, Futu, mainly because it's the Chinese sector has been a little bit in play. China recently said that they're going to increase the amount of spending that they're going to give out on the stimulus, especially if Trump wins, potentially because they're worried that the Trump is going to talk about delisting Chinese stocks again and all that craziness. But also, if you just go to x.com very simply and follow one of the greatest content on the stock market that you can ever find, this guy will teach you about the stocks more than you know, you yourself can ever teach yourself. I'll promise you that. So this guy right now is talking about a lot of money has apparently been going into China. Chinese equity funds have seen an all-time high of 21 billion withdrawn over the past 5 weeks. Whoa, maybe I'm seeing the opposite. But overall, this guy is putting a lot of money into China. They're also talking about how Chinese stocks are very undervalued. Recently, because of the whole Chinese stimulus, these stocks have rallied, and the Chinese stimulus seemed to be not as drastic as expected, so they started cooling off. And then, as expected with Trump victory, they were expected to get more stimulus than previously thought so now they're getting active again. Tomorrow, with this name reporting earnings, pre-market, it's going to be on watch, because there's some, I wouldn't say clean levels, except for this bottom level right here into, what is that, $86.50, except for this $86.50 area. That's besides that, you don't really have a clean level to play off of. So if we do get an opportunity to get long into this area on the earnings reports reaction, then I would I would love to play that long, get long somewhere right here with the stop on that low right there, and you get a nice swing low action long to get into as an intraday. That's perfect. That's what you want to look for. If the report is not good enough, then I'm expecting this low to break and not really hold, which means we get below here, and any pops into this area should reject and start getting back under. It's okay to miss the first breakdown, in my opinion, if you are not quick enough for it, but it is not okay to miss the pullback and the retest of this area. So you want to be reactive, and you want to be ready for that pullback, that reject of that 86.50 area on any sort of a negative sentiment on that stock. And that's basically why the stock's on that report. If it does have a positive sentiment, ideally you don't even want to see the stock pulling into this area. If it has a positive sentiment, then Futu should start going higher and higher right off the bat in pre-market, and you should never be able to go long 86.50, 87. Potentially the stock is into 100, into 101 or something at that point of the earnings report. Then maybe you can look for an intraday scalp or something. So pretty simple reason over there as to why Futu is on the watch list. Earnings name along with Walmart, Lowe's is just the importance for the stock is on blue. It's not really high priority for me. I might even have to color a couple stocks in a higher priority. For example, SMCI, SMCX, a little bit of a higher priority than any of the other names just because of the nature of those stocks. Palantir potentially goes up higher in priority also, just because if Palantir breaks below 58.50, I think that opens up some good downside. But I'll leave Palantir where it is. I want to watch SMCI off the open for sure. Futu potentially will get an upgrade on the priority tier. Walmart will probably get an upgrade on the priority tier. But right now, just because we don't know how they reported, we don't know what the pre-market levels are and so on. The priority tier is just based on what I know at the moment, and I'm going to play off of that only. I want to quickly, before I end the stream here, want to go look at the idea of the stream is to show you guys what the fuck. Holy shit, excuse my French. Okay, that's way more than the hello. That's way more than the ATR for the stock right now. The actual stock's ATR 3.59. SMCX ATR $18.20. That's insane. So based on obviously the moves that we're getting on some of these names, the priority on those names are higher. Pre-market will maybe depend, will change some of the priority on some of these names. I want to also put BKKT as a higher priority because that one, with the whole Trump media news potentially giving you an easy trade off that $30 over there to keep an eye out for. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is tomorrow's watch list. Let's quickly head over to the econ calendar. That is not the econ calendar. Let's quickly head over to the economic calendar over here. On the economic calendar, as I was actually pulling this page up earlier before stream, there was an article at the top. That article said that the market is actually seeing the biggest influx of longs and bulls that it's ever seen. So usually that might indicate a top in the market. So if this might start topping out on the market, we're also holding below the election anchored VWAP on the QQQ and on the S&P 500. So if we actually top down on the market, maybe some fun bear side action that I could have Timothy Bear Lemaine could start waking up on the market again. Tomorrow, however, in terms of economic events, we don't really got anything big going on. Building permits, housing numbers, Redbook, Atlanta GDP, not really anything that could maybe shake or break the market. Obviously Thursday. What am I saying? Wednesday after hours, we got something that potentially will shake or break the market, and that will be Nvidia. Do they still report a 3-digit growth, or do they report a high 2-digit growth? The high being 50 plus. What do they report growth? Are the sales for AI slowing down, or are they still rampant and being crazy? As they have been. So it's so many questions over here, and all of that will be answered Wednesday after hours. And there's like a meme, if I remember correctly, Nvidia meme. Let's see if we can find this meme over here real quick. Right there. That basically sums it up. This is not the exact meme I'm looking for. This is the meme I'm looking for. The entire market and Nvidia is basically just kind of holding it up and supporting the market right now, doing its damn good job at supporting the market. You could say Tesla kind of doing a pretty good job also. This one's a funny picture. Intel, AMD, Nvidia, Intel looking derpy. Shout out to Intel today though. Intel did not look derpy today. Intel's at what, $24, up 2%, $25 on Intel, above the earnings anchored VWAP and getting ready to reclaim the previous levels over here. So Intel not looking so derpy today. Let's see how Nvidia maybe helps Intel out or maybe hurts Intel going forward. Apparently AMD CFO resigned or something. I'm not sure how old that news is. However, AMD did pop up 3% today. Affirm, I do remember Affirm being a pretty important name on the watch list. How come it's not colored? Let me color Affirm as a high important color for tomorrow. orange color, and the level that I'm watching for is basically 59.60 for support. Expecting $59 to $60 area to hold up on any sort of a dip buy action on AFRM. And that name should basically round out the watch list for tomorrow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you guys the best. Let's actually quickly go to the earnings anchored view app. What am I saying, man? I can't think. The IPO calendar to see anything exciting comes up on the IPO earnings calendar. We do have something. Ooh, something AI. What is this? Pony AI showing up on the IPO calendar over here. That's going to be a fun one for sure. $224 million expected IPO day 21st of November, so that's on Thursday. That means Wednesday we're gonna do a little bit of research about Pony. Let's see how Pony's setting up for the next few days. I'm gonna pull it up right here, get it ready for us. 180 million, 15 million shares being offered. Autonomous mobility. Public roads of China metropolis. Pony has achieved what is once depicted in science fiction. Oh, come on, bro. This guy's name's Dr. Jun Peng. Is this guy the same guy who created Xpeng? Okay, maybe I was just hella racist by saying that. Alright. My bad. My bad. But okay, Pony AI looks pretty interesting over here. They make money. Slightly. $3 billion market cap? Yeah, right. Shares outstanding. Actually, not a small company. Eh? Okay. Alright, I guess we'll do more research about this company. Here's a quick research. We did our quick overview, quick research. We'll do a higher deep dive research on Wednesday, so make sure you tune in Wednesday, 8 o'clock. That's going to be November 20th, ladies and gentlemen. Wednesday, November 20th. I'm going to roll in the outro. I wish you guys the best tomorrow, Tuesday. Market's gonna potentially not do too much going into the NVIDIA report. If you look at the QQQ and the S&P 500, you know, we're kind of having an inside day on Friday's candle. Both of them having a nice inside day on Friday's candle. S&P 500 actually bouncing off of the previous all-time high pretty well, if you ask me. So just slowing down going into the NVIDIA reports. I'm not expecting too much volatility on the NVIDIA report, but then we'll see what happens. Thank you, Mr. Pratt. Stop fucking with the T-Deer stocks. Good luck to everyone. Bobby Helm, you're right, man. I gotta stop fucking with the T-Deer setups and the T-Deer stocks. It's a curse. It's a curse. I need to stop fucking with this. Leaks in my buckets. Leaks in my buckets. I appreciate it. Dieter saying goodbye. Yes, sir. Time to call it a night. Time to say goodbye. Time so you guys can hear the beautiful outro made by Dieter himself. Wish you guys the best. Good luck. Catch you guys tomorrow. TraderPrad out. Peace. Adios.
Get ready for the watch list for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna bring in my big screen over here. Back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day. So let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow, as you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, Trader Sync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.